Hello, good morning. ICT Esther and Nehemiah. Today, ang subject natin for today, okay, ay tungkol sa light and shadow. Katulad po ng kahapon na nabitin po natin kahapon. By the way, papakilala ko ulit ako. Ako pala po si Juan Paulo Yotravo, ang teacher niyo po sa Multimedia Arts. Pero bago po yan, ang presentation na to ay ginamit lamang o gagamitin lamang para sa educational. Ngayon, bawal po maglabas ng video na to o ikalat ang video na to. Last meeting, ang naging topic po natin dito ay tungkol sa mise en scene. Which is, una po, naging yung history ng filmmaking and video camera, setting, at saka CGI. Konting review lang po muna tayo para ma-connect po natin ito sa ating panibagong topic. Ito po ang example po ng setting. Kung nakikita nyo po, nandito na rin po yung actor, yung actress, pati nandito na rin po yung props. Ito po ay nakuha sa isang teatro. And then, sa history naman po ng filmmaking, meron po nagtatalo kung sino nga po ba nauna. Yun sa left side po natin, ang magkapatid na Lumiere. And then, si Thomas Edison. Na kung saan, sa Lumiere naman po, ang pinapromote po nila dito ay ang about sa chronophotography and kinetoscope naman ang na-invento ni Thomas Edison. Dahil sa setting o sa simula pa lang po class, na gumagawa pa po sila ng props, bumibili pa po sila ng gamit para mailagay po nila yon sa isang lugar para magmukha siyang literal kung saan magkakaroon ng connection between sa scene at saka sa audience. Ngayon, ang ginamit na po nila ngayon ay CGI o gumamit sila ng green screen. Another example po ng CGI, yung paglalagay po ng animation sa mukha ng isang actor o isang actress. Gamit na lang po yung mga dots na yan para makita po kung saan kumukunot o kumukulot po yung mga mukha, para makita po yung expression ng isang tao. At ginagamit po nila ito para, katulad nga po, makapag-form sila ng panibagong character. At ito naman po.
Today on Film Right, we're looking at some basic lighting ideas and how you can use them. Welcome to Film Right, the show that takes mystery out of the effects and techniques school in some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and lighting can be a tricky thing and definitely one that just needs a lot of experience to dial in, but there are a few basic ideas that will help you get started controlling your image better. Of course, as you gain experience, you're going to stop consciously thinking about most of this, but it's still a great place to start. To talk about these, we have Justin in front of a black sheet so that we can just focus on what the light is doing to the talent. And to start, we're just going to use one light, which is our ICANN Raiden. I've shown you this light before. It's our bicolor LED panel, super bright, dimmable, and can shift between tungsten and daylight in increments just by clicking here, then spinning the wheel. And before we look at the actual light, first term I want to get out of the way is lamp left and lamp right. So if I tell someone to pan the light lamp left, that will be the left side of the light if they are behind it. If I'm in front of the light looking at it, that will be the right side of the light for me. So if I tell him to move the light lamp left 3 feet, he'd go here, and lamp right 3 feet would go here. Got it? Good. So now we flip this on, and the first thing that we're going to look at is broadside or near side, which is what you see here when the light is hitting the broadside of the actor's face. With the face at an angle, it'll be the side that faces nearest to the camera. Opposite of that is going to be short side, which would have the light on the short area of your actor's face, which again, if the actor's face is at an angle, this would mean the side away from camera. And this is how I'm usually lighting. It gives more contrast and depth for me. You'll hear broad and short mostly used in photography, but still great concepts to have floating around in your area brain face. And don't confuse short side light with short sighting. Short sighting is a term that refers to a certain type of framing, like this here. More common framing would be this, where the frame is giving space or leading in the direction the actor is facing, but short sighting would be doing the opposite, putting the end of the frame up against the actor's direction. Fincher uses this a lot, and it has become a lot more popular recently. But back to lighting. Next we have side light, which is exactly what it sounds like, and it's a great way to create a dramatic image. Then if we move the light lamp left a bit, we get Rembrandt lighting. Sounds fancy, but it's pretty simple. Its name comes from a famous Dutch painter who did gorgeous low-key work and used this type of lighting in most of his work. And you can tell when you have it because you get this triangle under the eye, like this. So if you start with your key on the side raised up a bit, then walk it over, eventually the light will make it past the nose and create this triangle. And you will see this angle of light everywhere in film. It's not always a perfect triangle. It will change depending on the angle of the light and the shape of the actor's face, but you get the idea. Next, we have backlight, again, an obvious one, but another one that can help create depth and drama, especially when used as a main source like Spielberg and Roger Deakins both like to do. And if we move lamp right, we can get a kicker or a rim light, and this is just the light from the back that is sidle enough to wrap around the subject. Plenty of examples of this all throughout film. I often like to add a subtle rim light to enhance a short side type key, which a key light is just the main source of light in your scene. This can be a backlight, a side light, short, broad, rim, whatever. It doesn't comment on the angle of light, just that it is your main light in the scene. Then to help control your contrast, you have the fill light. This can be a light source or a bounce. The idea is that it's filling in the shadows to get the light ratio that you want, whether it's more low key or high key. High key would be this here, a more flat, less contrasty look. You see it in a lot of comedies, romance films, and sitcoms. Low key, beyond being Thor's brother, is a much more contrasty look, heavy shadows with a much darker fill or no fill at all. And the last term we're going to look at is cross lighting. This can mean a few things, but the one that we're going to look at is cross-lighting two actors. So here we have Josh and Justin facing each other in a conversation. To cross-light them, I will take my one Raiden light and set it behind Justin at an angle that will both backlight him and short-light Josh. Then I'll take my other Raiden and do the exact same thing on the other side. So now we have one light acting as a backlight for one actor and a key for the other, and a
Okay. Tungkol po ito sa last topic natin o last topic po natin about sa mise-en-scene. Ngayon naman, gagamit naman po tayo ng tamang paggamit ng lights and the shadows. Siyempre, kailangan po natin dito ng actor or subject. Ngayon, ang magiging topic natin for today is about acting and equality, kinds of lighting and shadows. Objective: to know the different kinds of lights and the shadows. Kailangan malaman po natin different kinds of lights, kung paano tayo gumamit dito sa filmmaking, and then to appreciate the position of lights and shadows in filmmaking. Dito naman po malalaman natin kung anong purpose ng lights, lalo sa filmmaking, at gagamitin po natin ito, siyempre sa multimedia arts. Okay? And then to perform different kind of lights and shadows after the discussion. After po nito, ang magiging project po, activity natin po today. Ang magiging activity natin for today, pagkatapos po na itong subject na to, ay tungkol sa paggamit ng lights. Okay? Ipapasa nyo po ito sa portal. Okay na? Ulitin ko po. Itong PowerPoint presentation po natin ay ginamit lamang para sa education at bawal po ikalat. Okay? Acting and equality. Although abstract shape and animated figures can become more important in the mise-en-scene, most important in scene are actors playing roles. Anong sabi nito? Kailangan, nonsense, o sabihin po natin, kahit anong gawin po natin sa isang event o sa isang lugar na merong setting, ang mas kailangan pa rin po dito yung actors na nagpe-play ng kanyang role. Ayan po ang magiging silbi ng ating subject. Ngayon naman, the lighting. The impact of an image comes from the manipulation of lighting. Okay. Nonsense rin po ang pag-acting ng ating mga actor at saka ng ating actress kung ito po ay wala namang lights o hindi po nakikita kanyang expression. So, dito po tayo gagamit ng iba't ibang uri ng lights. At dahil po dito, meron po muna tayong lights and then shadow. Again, and the shadows is the absence of lights. At saka yung lights naman po, present siya pag wala naman po shadows. In another words, kabaligtaran ng shadow si lights, and then si lights kabaligtaran niya ay si shadows. Napoproduce the lights si shadow. Okay, pag wala si shadow, nandyan si lights. At dahil po doon, meron tayong two types of shadow. Una is the touch shadow or shading, and then the cast shadow. Ito po ang example ng attached shadow pati cast shadow. As you can see sa object na to, ang attached shadow ito po yung naka-attach sa isang object. And then yung cast shadow naman, siya naman po ang napoproduce ng ating object o ng ating subject. Attached shadow occurs when the light fails to illuminate part of an object because of the subject's shape or surface features. Dahil sa attached shadow na naka-attach nga sa isang object, napo-form po ang tatawag nating attached shadow. Lahat po ng shadow na naka-attach sa subject na yun ay tinatawag na attached shadow or shading. Ulitin ko po, shading. Ito po yung shadow na naka-attach sa isang object or subject natin. Ito po ang example ng shadows, the attached and the cast shadow. Cast shadow caused by the blockage of the light from the light source by the object or part of the object project onto a surface. Ito po ang sabi natin na po-form o nilalabas ng ating object. Ibig sabihin, dahil sa light, tapos isang object natin, nagkakaroon o napoproduce na po yung isang shadow, which is yung shadow na yon nagbubunga lang po dahil sa blockage ng lights mula sa ating light source. Ito po ang another example ng attached pati cast shadow. Gamit po ang lights. Yung attached shadow, ito po yung naka-attach sa ating subject, ulitin ko. And then the cast shadow naman, siya naman po yung napoproduce ng ating object. Okay? Yung nakikita nyo po sa sahig, ayan po ay cast shadow. And then yung nakikita nyo naman po sa katawan ng ating actor o ng ating subject, siya naman po yung attached shadow. Next, the shadow is ang shadow ay napo-form o dahil absent ang lights, napo-form si shadow. And then the lights naman ay nandyan pag wala si shadow. In short, ang lights and then shadow ay sila po ay contrast. And then, the kind of lighting. Gamit naman po ang iba't ibang lights o light effects, pwede tayong makagawa ng isang creative shots. Ito po yung apat na lighting na gagamitin po natin o basic lights lang po na kadalasan nakikita sa isang film. The frontal lighting, back lighting, and then underlighting at saka top lighting. Ano nga po ba sila? And then the underlighting is the approach of lighting of a subject from a point below the subject in the scene. Nalala niyo po ba ng mga bata po kayo para mas nagiging creepy, spooky po yung character po ninyo. Lalo pag brownout po, ang ginagamit po ninyo yung lights and then pinapailawan nyo po mismo yung baba po ninyo and then nagmumukha po kayong creepy o spooky po. Ayan po yung effects ng underlighting. And then the background lighting naman, the 4-point lighting setup, the same as the 3-point, okay? In addition of a background light, the background light is used to illuminate the background area of a set. Of the background light will also add distance between the subject and the background. In short, by adding background light is to set the filmmakers can add scene a scene of a depth to shots. Dahil po sa background light, nagkakaroon po ng depth. Ano po yung depth? Ito po yung lalim ng ating object, ng ating subject. Nagkakaroon po siya ng edge. Nahihiwalay po yung subject natin sa background po natin. Nagkakaroon po siya ng suspense o mystery. Gamit po ang background light. Okay? At dahil po sa background light, ulitin ko po, nahihiwalay po yung subject sa ating background. Ito naman po ang example ng iba't ibang lights. The side left, top down, bottom up o underlight, backlight, frontal light, and then side 3/4 light. And then, ang paggamit naman po ng lights, so 3-point lighting. Meron tayong tatlong uri dito ng 3-point lighting. Bakit po 3-point? Ibig sabihin, tamang paggamit ng mga lights lalo po sa photography, sa filmmaking. Tandaan po natin, tayo po ay nasa multimedia arts. Ang paggamit rin po ng lights at paggamit po ng shadows, nagkakaroon po ito ng creativity sa ating subject. Sige, mabalik po tayo sa 3-point lighting. Una, key lights, free lights, and then the backlight. The key lights o key lights. As you can see, sa key lights, mas malakas po ang liwanag na napoproduce po ng ating light source. Ito po ang kakalabasan sa pangatlong picture po. And then the backlight. Backlighting sometimes creates a halo effect around the character's head, particularly at the edge of the hair. Ngayon naman, ano ang purpose po kung bakit kailangan natin ng backlights? Simple lang po, lalo po sa taga-edit na picture. Dahil sa backlights, tiyatanggal naman po niya yung shadow o yung cast shadow ng isang subject. Okay, cast shadow ng isang subject mula sa key light. At dahil matatanggal po natin yung cast shadow, ang mangyayari po dito, magkakaroon po ng contrast between the subject and then the background. Ulitin ko, para mas mabilis po natin maintindihan. Ang fill light, ang tinatanggal niya po yung attached shadow na na-form mula sa key light. And then the backlight naman po, ang tinatanggal niya ay yung cast shadow mula sa key light o mula sa napoproduce nating key light. Tendency, ang character po natin, o model po natin, maaliwala sa po yung mukha at wala pa pong shadow sa background. Mas mabilis po natin ito maikat gamit po ang magic wand kung wala pong cast shadow. Tama po ba? Ulitin ko po, pinutol ko lang po ang video na to para pwede nyo po siyang panoorin sa YouTube and then gagawa po kayo ng reaction paper kasama sa video na to.
Shadows, the absence. Shadows, the absence of light, darkness, manipulating wavelengths for maximum artistic expression, art, science. Photons traveling trillions of miles just to be blocked? No. Yes. It is now time to enter the shadow realm. Today we're talking about shadow photography. Roll the intro. Portrait photography can get a little dull sometimes. I mean, usually it's the same thing every time. You know, get a key, light someone's face on the right side, put a little fill, get a backlight. A normal bland portrait usually won't stop someone scrolling on Instagram to double tap on your photo, thus, you know, feeding your
incessant cravings for self-validation. Validate me! I recently ran into this problem. I was just starting up my new Instagram portfolio and I wanted a series of photos on there that were really visually interesting, but still really cheap to shoot. So after thinking outside the box a little bit, I decided to experiment with shadows. Now, shadow photography is an extremely interesting niche of the photo realm. It's thoughtfully using the absence of light to contrast against the parts of the photo that contain light. Now, I know that sounds like just a shadow, but sometimes whenever you play it carefully and play the angles right, it can turn out to be an amazing photo. Creating shadow photos is a relatively simple process with a pretty minimal setup. All you need is a hard key light, a backlight like a quasar or a similar softer light, a backdrop, and a big old box of objects that can create weird shadows. Just find some stuff that looks cool when light passes through it. Some of the things we used were colanders, wicker baskets, film strips, you name it. Get creative. Now, a problem you might run into while trying to create shadows on your subject is that when light passes through your shadow object, light seemingly bends around the holes in your object to create large, soft shapes instead of the hard light you're going for. This is a problem that can be attributed to the light source's aperture. Just like a camera aperture, when you want a sharp image with no soft edges, you close your aperture to one of its smallest settings. The same goes for a light. Just in this instance, you're limiting the amount of light being put out, not absorbed. This limits the amount of diffraction that your light has, which will create a starker shadow when passed through an opaque object. Most lights won't actually come with an aperture for adjusting light distribution. The only ones that are widely available are LECO lights, and those are used in theater production, event production, even film production. LECOs actually have adjustable shutters in the back of the light that you can use to create spotlights, squares, any sort of thing that you can use with a 4-axis system. Even though the LECO had an aperture that we can use to cut down light distribution, it was still giving us really soft shadows once passed through the shadow object. After a bit of troubleshooting, we found out that we needed to reverse the aperture effect that works in the camera by switching the pinhole location to the front of the lens, not the internal side. This is because the light is outputting light to the reverse of camera, which is, of course, absorbing light. You can actually cut a pinhole in cardboard and stand that in front of your light with a C-stand. We were finally able to get the shadows that we wanted. We even found that if you change the shape of your light's aperture, you get the same shape in your shadows even if it passes through a secondary hole. Science! Woo! Once you've completed your studio setup, get creative with your shots. Change up the angle of the light, the angle of the subject, or even the type of object you're using to get that shadow. Experimentation is one of the best ways to get your most creative shot. And that's how you shoot shadow portraits. As always, if you want more lighting tutorials for both film and video, make sure to like and subscribe, and leave any comments below if you have any questions for me about this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.